Hey guys, this is Cody Jinks. You're listening to South Pond Waterfowl, Pursuit to the Plate.
All right, you heard the man. Thanks for that, Cable. Cody Jinks, new album out, Adobe Sessions. Go get it. You won't regret it. What's playing in the background is Loud and Heavy. That's his new single. It's awesome, which you'll find out here listening. Get on YouTube or something and just check the guy out. He's kind of bringing what I think is country back, and I'm not a fan of new country. And this guy, I can't get enough of him. So. But moving right along, big show today. Thanks to Vortex Optics and Remington Arms for making this one happen. In the Remington Arms studio, we got Julie Mcqueen and Daniel Lee Martin. You guys may know them from the show Brotherhood Outdoors. They're the hosts, and they produce the show. But more importantly, we're going to be diving into them and their lives. Married couple, co-hosts, traveling almost every day out of the year together, hunting, cooking, training. Julie's a huge fitness nut, so they're constantly working out. Scouting, it's just they're never apart, and we're going to kind of get into a lot of what makes them go, and their own production company, Backstage and Backroads Productions. And if you guys follow them on social media, you know what kind of people they are. We're proud to have them as friends of the show, and we're very happy that they took time out of their very, very busy schedule to come on the show with us today. If you guys do follow them on social media, you know what kind of people they are. They're good people. They try to show their fans appreciation. And the segment's brought to you by Lethal Scent Control. Thanks for coming on the show. And how are you guys?
Thanks. Yeah, hi. Thanks for having us. We're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing wonderful. We're sitting here in south of Nashville. A little bit of rain, but that won't stop us from smiling. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rain stuff's been a pesky beast so far this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some people, for sure. Yeah.
And Joe, how about yourself up north?
Doing well. Fished a little bit today.
Yeah.
So I'm doing good.
I'm jealous.
Well, maybe we should be interviewing Joe.
I know.
Sean, I caught bass today.
Yeah?
Nice.
Hey, I caught a dang bass Sunday. When you have a fishing tournament and the winning total scoreable weight is 10.15 pounds, it's a bad day.
It's a horrible day.
So, yeah.
You got pre-fishing for this weekend.
Yeah, the pre-fishing didn't help us any. The guy that won like $500 probably didn't really put a dent in his $75,000 boat that he was fishing in, but trying to get back on track. We have Daniel Lee Martin and Julie McQueen. You guys have the Backstage and Backroads Productions. I think if we can just completely rewind from where you went to today, and we can slowly work our way up to where you're at, I think the biggest question that I would have would be, what got you guys into the outdoors in the first place? And then, probably, I guess, separately or together, however you want to answer it. Julie, if you want to go first, ladies first.
Yeah, I think ladies first is perfect. Yeah, Julie's got a great story.
Yeah. It's my story is part of the reason why I'm so passionate about seeing kids getting involved in the outdoors, because I didn't have that. I didn't have anybody to take me hunting, when I was growing up. So I'm self-taught. I started hunting when I was, I think, 17 or 18. And by self-taught, I mean, I would go to the bookstore and I would get magazines and books and try to figure out what this whole hunting thing was. Obviously, before the days of YouTube videos, we had to do a little more research back then. So, I'm self-taught. I had an appreciation for guns. Both of my parents were military, so I had to know guns. But, I started hunting when I was, I think, 17 or 18, and took myself by myself on my first hunt, and was hooked ever since. Just absolutely passionate about it. And there for quite a few years, I hunted solo. I just kind of went by myself, and worked my way into the industry, in a lot of ways behind the camera, pro staffing, back then. So yeah, kind of a long journey to get to this point where I get to do it full time, but still a good story.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch we can touch on in betweens too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so the age of, let's say, 17, 18, you got to get out and start hunting. What was the very first thing that you were actually able to pursue, harvest, and take?
Yeah. Well, I lived in Missouri at the time, and I borrowed a gun. I borrowed a 7mm mag from somebody, and got permission to hunt on a property on a farm, and went out and sat down on the ground, because I didn't know even what a tree stand was at the time, and a really nice old 12-point buck walked by, and I shot him. And that was the first time I'd ever seen an animal die. It was the first animal I'd ever shot. And it was a really magical moment. It was one of those moments in time where you just never forget that. And I was stunned. Obviously, when I saw the deer go down, he fell. Right where he stood. And it was a pretty incredible experience.
Yeah, it's an amazing first hunt.
Yeah. A lot. A very great gun as well. Most.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Well, that could be why he fell where he stood too.
Yeah. I'd say that deer generally don't tend to run off when you shoot them with a 7 mag. They got some stopping power to them. That would have been a great one to actually be able to catch on film, I think.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's a real deal situation right there.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Times have changed. It's like all of us, we have 3 different recording devices on our body at all times, Nowadays, you've got an iPhone, you've got the GoPro, and you've got a camera to do that. Back then, you just didn't have that stuff.
Yeah,
no. Nope.
And to do it all yourself that's what makes that story really cool. It's 100% solo, self-taught.
Yeah. I remember someone had told me just shoot him in the shoulder, and that's all you have to do. And I thought, well, that should be easy enough. Sure. So I mean, I think back and I'm like, holy moly, I had to. And then I went down there, and I'm going, well, how am I going to get this thing to the truck? I don't know. How do you do that? If you've never been around, the harvesting of an animal and what happens after it's on the ground, I had no clue. I had to call a friend on that one because I didn't know what to do. So it's come a long way since then. And, it's my story is like polar opposite from Daniel Lee's. I'll have him tell you, but he came from a family, where this is a normal thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a normal thing to do, but it wasn't a professional type thing. I mean, my dad took my brother and myself hunting whenever he could. And I grew up on the west coast of Florida, down by St. Petersburg, so the fishing down there was incredible. But even not just the saltwater, but the freshwater fishing was amazing too. I mean, there's some lakes down there that hold some monster bass. But my dad would try to take my brother and myself hunting whenever he could, even when it was with one of those big groups of his Rotary buddies, I mean, one of the we'd go up to Indiana on family reunions during the season, and we'd go up there and never shot a deer. We just went out and had a good time. Very rarely saw a deer. But I remember one of the very first times I was in 7th grade, and he, along with like 15 of his Rotary buddies, did a trip out to Texas, out by Llano, Texas. And they had just leased a piece of land out there, and they wanted to start doing an annual trip. Well, the very first year, I mean, my dad's, could go out and party with his buddies and have a good time, and he chose to take my brother and me out there with them. And at the time it didn't mean a lot, but nowadays it means more than anything, knowing that he did that. Well, I ended up getting my first two deer. I shot 2 deer, I shot a doe, and I shot 2 pigs that trip.
Wow.
And I was shooting I think it was the year before my folks got me a Remington Model 788 243 short barrel bolt action. I still have it today, and I shot my 8-point on the very first morning, and that same evening, that same day, I shot another 8-point, and so the next day I shot a doe, and then I walked around with my brother for a little while, and we ended up shooting those pigs. That was probably one of the most memorable trips. I went again when I was in 11th grade with him, and I forget what I got. I think it was just a smaller 8-point that trip, but we never really did like any bird hunting. We grew up in orange groves down there in Florida back before the big development went through, and we used to go quail hunting. And I remember I had a single shot 410 that my dad won on some auction, like at a rotary auction, and my brother and my dad had 12 gauges, so I'm shooting a 410. We'd go. This is before we'd hunt with dogs. We'd go out there and try to bust these quail up in the orange groves, and so it was a nice an atmosphere to grow up and have your dad and your parents, for the most part, really encourage you to be involved in the outdoors. I do remember as a real young kid. I mean, my mom couldn't keep me inside. She'd have to come looking for me all over the area because I'd be in the swamps. I've just always been an outdoor person. I've always loved it and loved all aspects of it too. I like watching nature. I like the survival tactics. I mean, as a kid, I was 10 years old, and I remember my mom asking me what I wanted for my birthday, and I remember telling her that I think it was one of my dad's Field and Stream magazines. I saw a book on survival. It was a survival guide, and I said, I want that. And I remember going through every single one of those, not chapters, but pages of how to do something, and I did every one of them. I'll never forget it. I mean, I was taking stuff from my dad's garage, and where are those shoestrings? I said, oh well, they're on a piece of cypress that I used so I could start a fire, and he would, but he went right along with it, and I've never lost that passion for it. I've never lost that passion for the outdoors, which just really makes this job awesome.
I think I think
it
anybody
really does.
Yeah, I think anybody that's ever seen you guys on television knows that you guys really, you're doing what you love to do. To me, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of putting on for the camera. It kind of seems like you're getting a couple super genuine people that really love doing what they're doing and know that they're more than blessed to be doing it. I mean, there's a lot of
really think so.
positive energy coming out of it.
Well, we appreciate that. Yeah, we always say nobody has more fun than we do, and we really feel that way. We have our days. We spend some days in the office. We run a company, our production company. So there's that side of it. A lot of people don't see the real work and the late nights and no weekends schedule that we keep, to keep the business running. But it's we still have fun with it. We sit in here and we have creative ideas, and it's just an absolute dream job for two creative people who love the outdoors. And for anyone who follows us on social media, what you get is what you see. We put ourselves out there in a real way, and that's how it should be.
You guys have stayed very laid back, and you can tell that your roots play into who you are too, just by watching pretty much everything you do.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's a lesson learned. I mean, Julie's been in the modeling profession for years, and she's traveled all around the world. And I was in music before, I got into TV. I moved to Nashville for music, so I've been here since '97. And in 2007 is when I inked my first deal with our old show called Backstage and Backroads. And I remember but on the music side, I remember people would treat you so different just because you've got some success. I mean, my music, it did really well. and had 2 albums. They did great. We had charting singles, and people would treat you different. And I always wondered, that's just really odd that they would treat you different because of that. And I never changed. It wasn't about that. It was just about having a really good time and touching hearts along the way, and making sure that you were doing the right thing, and you were in it for the right reasons. You know, that's exactly, we keep that attitude every single day of what we do. I think when we lose sight of that, that's when we need to jump ship and go do something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we won't.
No. Kind of at what point in your life did it finally kick in that you were able to take your love of the outdoors and turn a career and make a living out of it? Like, I mean, how did that come?
Well, my side was, it was just being at the right place at the right time. I mean, it was the end of 2006, and I remember music had opened a lot of doors for me, and I was playing at a lot of different, music festivals that were charity events, raising money for certain things. I was playing a lot of golf tournaments that were charity celebrity events, and my record label that I'm with was basically formed by a big group of Major League Baseball players that loved music and wanted to start a label here in Nashville. So it was called Chin Music Records, and we were playing a lot of Major League Baseball player alumni events, which means these are like retired ball players, and they go around and they go to these, they have a golf tournament, a concert, and so I was doing a lot of those. And I just happened one time, I was up in Wisconsin, and I happened to get paired with one of the original founders of Sportsman Channel, and I played golf with him. And in 18 holes, we kind of hit it off. He was a huge music connoisseur. He loved music, and I think it was a couple months later, I had sent an idea for a pilot for a TV show. I thought, it'd be kind of neat to have an outdoor show based around, the music, and especially a startup artist. Was really hoping to make it super big one day, but also what he's doing when he's not doing music or his day to day. He's in the tree stand, he's on the water, he's fishing, loves to fly fish. So they bid on it, and for a couple seasons, Sportsman Channel owned the rights to the show, and then I ended up purchasing the rights to the show and did everything on our own, and that's when we started the production company. So the show is called Backstage and Backroads, but our production company is simply called Backstage and Backroads Productions, and that's where it's derived from. So I never thought ever that I would be in this business, but boy, oh boy, when opportunity presents itself, you might as well jump at it. Yeah. So that's kind of how I ended up getting into it.
That's very, very cool. You got to be at the right place at the right time and make the right decision, I guess, right?
And spreading yourself as thin as you can, it just increases those odds, doesn't it? Jules and I try to do so many different events. We try to be a part of so much, the trade shows. You just never know who you're going to meet. Not for necessarily for sponsorship or partnership opportunities, but just getting to meet really cool people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And talking about what we do. Nothing better than sitting around a campfire, playing guitar, talking about hunting and fishing stories.
Do you got any shows got coming up?
Any what? Concerts or like trade shows or
anything?
You
guys are doing?
Our busy time is usually the beginning of the year, starting off with SHOT Show, and then we go just full blown for 3 months.
Yeah, well, I think we'll probably do definitely the bigger ones like SHOT Show, ATA. We do those every year, but also we like to do the Mule Deer Foundation, their big national convention. Daniel played; he was the entertainment at that a couple of years ago, and I write for them, so we have a good relationship with them, and SCI, and what we do is we look at our calendar and we compare dates with all the shows and try to figure out a way to get there without having to cancel a hunt or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not just the big ones too. We love to appear at any size ones. We just got an offer to come up and speak at the Ohio Bowhunters Club in February, and we're hoping we're able to do that. And I think at the 2016 Mule Deer Foundation event in Salt Lake City next year, I think they want us back to perform again, which would be wonderful. I mean, wow. Get to go hang out with those guys and then play some music. I mean, what could be better?
Yeah, maybe just hunting. That's about all I can think
Right.
of.
I almost said that.
We're stuck in the middle of stinking July. It's 101 degrees outside, or it's nasty storming and raining.
Yeah.
Oh, I am ready.
I'm waiting for fall, man. I am so excited for fall.
It's funny because I'm on all of our social media every day, and I love this time of year because people are doing their countdowns to bow season, and I know in each state I know how many days are left until the opener. Just because of the people I follow.
Yeah.
How cool is that? I don't even have to count down the days; people do it for me. So
31 days till goose season.
Right? Yeah.
Not that I'm counting.
Yeah. I don't even know when I think I don't even know when my goose season starts. It's been that busy. I know we got an early goose in October, and then it's usually around Thanksgiving. But past that, I start worrying about that stuff when it gets a little bit below 80.
Yeah.
There's too much going on between.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the seasons. I just follow the boss here. She tells me where we're going, what we're doing. I'm like,
life is so much easier that way.
Isn't it?
Yeah, for you guys it is. I spend a lot of my days researching seasons and states and regulations and tags and licenses, and I'm trying to get us to the right place at the right time, and a big part of my job is scheduling where we're going, and usually we're on the road for months at a time, just one state to the next, hitting all the different hunts. So it's like Daniel said, he just follows me around, and I tell him which state to drive to, and he drives me there, which isn't a bad deal for either of us.
Oh heck, if I can get away with that, I can. I'm
Smile and wave.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, Julie, how did you? I'm like, at what point did you realize, you know what, I can do this and get paid and make a living, and I love doing it?
Oh yeah, no, I totally just married Daniel for his TV show. I'm kidding. No, that is kind of funny though.
That's really funny.
I should just start telling people that.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I was actually.
Because you sure didn't marry me for my looks.
Yeah. I was actually in this industry way back, even before Daniel was. I was pro staffing, and I was filming for different people and behind the camera, and back then it was different. Now it seems like everyone has a pro staff. Everyone does, and it doesn't mean much. It's a promotional staff. It's not really a professional staff.
Yes.
But I'm not degrading that. I'm just saying back when I started, it was different. Like I still have the letter that I got in the mail when I want to say I was around 18, 19, and ScentLock sent me a letter in the mail requesting that I work for them on their pro staff. I was the first female that had ever done anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would make appearances. I would show up at all the stores, and I had to know the clothing line, and I had to know, what to say, and all the, and you got a paycheck, and then they would use your photos in their advertisements, and it was just different back then than what it is now. So I did a lot of stuff like that, and kind of worked my way into the industry in those ways on a more behind the scenes type of thing. And then I did some on camera stuff over the years. Just kind of a few hunts here and there. Guest appearance type stuff, and then had a couple careers in between. So I didn't devote my entire life to this industry until probably until around the time Daniel and I,
me.
yeah, until around the time we got together, and and it worked out well because I already had the knowledge of the industry. I already knew everybody, and I knew how to work a camera, which is crucial.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just kind of built this empire together. is a good fit. We both work well together, and we both, on camera and behind the cameras. That's the key, I think. It's one thing for someone to show up and host a show, but what's going to happen if camera operator calls in sick and someone has to get the B-roll? I think knowing both sides of that is kind of the reason why we've done well at this together.
So true. Yep, yeah. So true. And the fact that we're just so passionate about it. We live it and we breathe it. Our house is a ginormous production studio. It's like you just can't. We walk over cameras and mounts and bows and guns.
I always say it looks like we robbed Bass Pro and just dumped it in our house.
It looks like it looks like Cabela's threw up in our living room is what it looks like in a really good way.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so
goodness.
It's such and what a wonderful way to spend your life with your significant. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I couldn't imagine guys. And I know it's difficult. Not everybody can do what we do, but I just can't imagine leaving for 5 days to hunt with a group of stinky guys and not have my girl with me. I can't even imagine. It's become such a way of life for us. I remember early on, Julie said, she goes, you're never going to go hunting or fishing without me again, right? I said, I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with that. It's much better for her to be a part of the story than to have to tell the story. So
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I see, and there's a lot more of it. I think traditionally speaking, and I hate that, but traditionally speaking, the guy went out and went hunting, and the women sat at home and complained to the other women about how much the guy went out and went hunting. And Joe, I know you take your wife out fishing. I don't know about hunting, but I take my wife out. My wife and 2 kids. I got a 5-year-old, and Joe does too. He takes his kids out, and he gets them out fishing. And but I do the same thing. I took my wife out for the first time turkey hunting this year. We've been trying to do it for I think 2 or 3 years now, because she for some reason, that was the only thing that appealed to her was turkey hunting. She'll go fishing and she'll do all that, but she wanted a turkey hunt. And with the kids, I have a 5-year-old girl and a 3-year-old girl, and that just really kind of slows everything down a lot. Not like in a negative, and I'm not saying this in a negative, but they take a lot of time and attention. So you kind of have to work around that, and I don't want them to grow up Daddy was never home, and hate the outdoors. So I'm trying to bring them into it and, get my wife involved. But I took her out, first hunt ever, hour into the hunt, and she shot a 2-year-old tom. And it's like, and I told her, I was like, next time it's probably not going to work that way, just so you know. But she was like the pictures, you can't even, like the amount of happiness she got from that was just unreal. And we were driving home the other night, and I think this was it Saturday? I can't remember. I think it was Saturday. And she looked over at me, and she's like, I really want to go turkey hunting again. And I was like, all right. And poor thing, I guess she could go in the fall season, but, she doesn't realize she has to wait. She's learning real after one hunt, she's got that itch, and she's gonna have to wait, and that sucks. But
it's not for everybody. There are guys out there that love to be. They want to go spend time alone. They want to go spend time with their buddies. It isn't for everybody, but I'll tell you, it is really nice to witness on social media more and more couples surfacing and just saying, "Hey, we're getting to do this together." And, "Hey, my boyfriend just bought me a brand new jewel, and I love it, and I get to shoot it today." And then to watch that unfold, and then to see him support her, I think it's just great. I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool, and especially me being a girl. My social media is full of ladies, girls, women, young and old, getting into it. Not just already established hunters, but right before we got on the phone with you guys. I actually had a message from a girl who's just starting to get into hunting. She wanted some advice on some supplements and some, how to pull her bow back and different things like that. And we had a nice long conversation about it. And I thought, that is so cool that social media allows people to get in touch with me personally if they have a question. I'm amazed by that still, that access is there to people,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
How much has social media changed the game for you guys and how you approach the production aspect and the marketing and all that aspect of what you guys do?
That's a really good question.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let the social media team over here handle that one.
Yeah, it's funny. Social media changes everything. I would have never thought that I would hear myself saying that. I actually didn't even have Facebook until like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And, we sat down in a meeting and everyone's going, Julie, come on, you got to get on Facebook. And I went, oh, okay. Well, then it blew up and, it's fantastic. People can stay in touch with me. It's a fan page, so I don't do a lot of interaction outside of that page. But, Instagram has just been awesome. We get to show people behind the scenes when we're on set, or on a hunt doing a production. It allows a glimpse into this life that we've built, and that's priceless because there's a lot of people who follow us specifically for the production stuff. Mm-hmm. They want to know what cameras we're using. They want to know how we set up our lighting or, how we're going to capture something in the field. And then there's the hunting fan base where they just want to see what we're going to shoot, and so everybody gets something out of it if they follow us, and we try to be funny and we try to be real and be ourselves on there, but there's also an educational aspect to it. We get to put a lot of really good information out there that we would want people to have access to. So
and
yeah,
for as busy as you guys are, because trying on a small level, I try to like self-film and all that stuff, my hunts. And the production, I'm horrible. Yeah. And I hate, it takes a lot of time. And you guys actually that's how this whole podcast came apart, I think, was Instagram. And you guys actually do interact with your fans. That's awesome. There's some people out there that don't, and and it's not necessarily a negative thing. Right. Some people just don't like to be the center of attention and have been put there. And that's fine. But you guys do what you do and do it well, and you guys show a lot of respect to the people out there that that support it. I think
Yeah, we appreciate that. It is true. I'll speak for myself because I don't know about Daniel, but I respond to almost everybody on my social media, and it's like Facebook will put a little thing that says you have like a whatever percentage response rate, and I look at that every day, and if it drops below like an 80% response rate within 20 minutes, then I'm like, oh, I got to get back on that because people expect a reply if they have a question or make a comment. Mm-hmm. I think otherwise they wouldn't be on there asking things or saying things. Instagram specifically has been just wonderful. I feel connected to a lot of people through it. Like you guys, for example, how wonderful that, this whole friendship came out of something like Instagram. How cool is that?
I know.
But, even just people out there who, have probably been watching our show or following us for a long time. And I know that to some people, it's a big deal if I respond to them. And I would never want to take that for granted. Mm-hmm. So I know some people who have the same job that we have, they don't reply. I look at their pages, I check on what they're doing too. And a lot of them don't take the time to respond. And I've
been trying to get Jim Shockey to respond to me for 3 years, and that son of a gun, he won't even respond. So he can just kiss it. Jerk face.
Oh my gosh. You're crazy.
Jerk
The
face.
jerk face. Yeah.
That's not true.
Oh man,
That's not true.
I love it. I love it.
Well,
what?
Julie's so much better at it than I am. She's a lot more dedicated to it. I love it. I love being a part of it. I love seeing posts. I love responding to people. It's really, it can be difficult when you're running a production company and you're not just doing stuff for one of your big clients, which is Brotherhood Outdoors and Union Sportsman's Alliance. It's doing all these other things for all these other partners like Hobie and like Vanguard and like ATN and these outdoor these companies that are within the industry that have seen your work and are wanting you to do work magic and create magic for them. So we both have just crazy busy days. We don't know what a weekend is, that's for sure. And we work all the time, and we love it. We don't consider it work, but we just have to call it work. But we I really try. I try to get more structured on social because I know how important it is. I really know how important it is. And so I'm trying to get Jules to share some of that some of the knowledge.
And you're right. Some people do like self-filming of their hunts, and that's difficult. So you can imagine when we have 8 or 10 cameras and organizing the cameramen and travel, and then once you get there, half the time you don't have service anyways.
Yeah.
So then you have to catch up a couple days afterwards. So
yeah,
it is nonstop. It really is. And, and then in the middle of that, you have to make time for each other. I don't want Daniel to feel like I'm always on my social because I need to pay attention to him also. And
she is on her social.
Yeah. And like even my mom, my poor mom, she doesn't know what state I'm in, and she finds out about my life through Instagram, and I'm just, yeah. So, balancing life sometimes is a little bit overwhelming, I guess.
Yeah. I know that feeling a lot. Yeah, my wife and you, Daniel, can start up a support group for people that abandon their spouses via. I try explaining. I'm like, you don't understand how important this is for the pursuits of the plate and South Pond waterfowl. But it's hard to balance. There's been quite a few times she's like, you need to get off your phone now, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, just to prove to you how bad I am, I just sent you a tweet and I forgot to write something on it. I'm not lying, Joe, I just sent you something. It's blank. Sorry.
I'm actually pulling it up right now.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna redo my name on Twitter. It's gonna be called at I suck. I suck at this. I suck at this.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
Let me ask you this: how did you guys even come together? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I was on tour, and there was this groupie behind the stage screaming at me and throwing stuff, and so I.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not true.
That's not true at all. No, Daniel and I knew each other for a long time. We were friends in the industry. I mean,
3 years.
Yeah, we would see each other at trade shows, and we were with other people, so we had no interest in each other in that way. Just friends. And then we both.
I mean, I thought you were hot, but I was.
No, you didn't. You were married.
You can still think that someone's hot.
Okay. So anyways, we both became single against our will. We didn't want to be single. And it was just one of those like, hey, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. And then I just kind of moved in with him on our first date. It was crazy.
Can I tell you guys a really funny story? This is we were at one of the very first SHOT shows together, and we were talking to potential sponsors. And one of the sponsors, we sat down with the group, the owner and the group of the marketing team, and there was like 3 or 4 of them there, and we're sitting on the other side of the table, and we're talking about our show and our future and our plans. And the owner of the company says, well, I'm really confused right now. And I said, well, why are you confused? And she said, well, I watched a couple of your episodes, and that's not Julie in the episodes. And I said, oh, yeah, that was my ex. And they go, oh, really? They go, what happened? What happened with that? And I go, she got eaten by a bear. So I had to bring Julie on now for the new co-host of Backstage and Background.
And they believed him, and the girl started crying in the meeting.
One of the girls, she stuck her hand over her mouth, and she literally started tearing up.
So he basically made someone cry during a business meeting because he told him. And then, so I didn't know what to say, and I'm like, okay, just go with it.
No, you didn't. You hit me, and you go, he's joking. And the one marketing director dude fell out of his chair, literally fell out of his chair on the floor laughing so hard, but the owner of the company did not think it was funny.
We never got a call back.
We didn't get a call back. So I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
And since then is why you just follow her, right? Oh, man. Hey, you know what, though?
You see what I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Hey, if you're not having fun, it's not worth doing.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
I guess, but you also got to pay the bills, so.
Yeah, good
well,
point.
It was about 3 weeks after that. We had not heard back from him yet, and Julie's like, you really messed that up bad. And so I was over here on my Mac, and I did this Photoshop picture of a ginormous bear with my ex in its mouth, like half eaten, and I was going to send it to her, but Julie told me not to. I'm like, well, what hurt? What could it hurt? I don't think she's calling us back anyways. So, yeah, anyway. So
needless to say, he's not allowed to talk during meetings anymore.
No, I just sit there and look pretty.
That's all.
So we have fun, not just on the camera when we're in front of the camera. We have fun when we're behind the camera. We have fun when we're just hanging out with people. Life's too short to be serious and to take yourself too serious.
Yeah.
And
we laugh a lot.
We laugh a lot. We have a good time doing this.
Oh yeah. Okay, so to kind of further on that, I mean, you gotta have fun. Obviously, that kind of ties into my next question. Pros and cons for you guys with the production, the hunting, the shows that you guys do for everybody. What are? I mean, obviously the ups. You guys have kind of touched into that. How do you make it all work? Pros and cons. That's a lot of time for two people to be together.
Yeah.
Especially people that are together all the time outside of that.
Yeah, it's funny. We always tell people we spend literally every minute of every day together, and the only exception to that is like if I have a hair appointment, sometimes I go by myself. That's it. We even like our offices, we're in our offices right now, and there's a big wall that's been removed in between them, so our offices are joined. They're open together, so we can see each other while we're working in the office all day. In the production studios, the editing suite, it's all like we're together nonstop. And, we travel, what did we travel last year? 240 days out of the year?
In 2014, we were on the road for 240 days.
Yeah, and that's driving almost everywhere. So we get in the truck together and we drive, I don't know how many thousands of miles per season. And, it's you have to really like each other. I think that's the key. We have our moments just like anyone would, but for the most part, we get along great. It's a team effort. We balance each other. I have very specific, job qualities that I take care of, and he has his, and it's a good balance.
It's a great balance. There's one word that really stands out. It's called compromise. It's compromise.
Yes, for sure.
I get when she needs her time away from me, I get that look, and I just vanish. and it's the same way the other way around. She respects what I do, and I respect what she does, and I listen to her. The one thing about Jules is that she's the real deal. She's so wise when it comes to hunting and fishing in the outdoors. She really is. There's a lot of common sense there, and I really listen to her on certain things, as well as the production side of it too. She's very wise there, and it's just a great team. I mean, it's just, I don't know, maybe we're just, one out of a billion. I don't know, a couple, but we really, two heads are better than one. That's for sure, and we really use that a lot when we're when we're doing anything, when we're in front of the camera trying to do a commercial for somebody, or when we're behind the camera shooting a commercial for somebody, or whether we're, trying to figure out what's the best turkey spot that morning.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and we've said this a few times to people in the past, that you'll never see Daniel and I arguing over who's a better hunter or who shot the bigger animal or who caught more fish. It's just not how we are. And if we're not like that in real life, we're not going to do that on camera just to get a rise out of people. We know some people do that. That's cool. That's how they are. But we don't bicker. We don't sit there and, talk about who shot something bigger or who's more successful at things. Because, and I always like to say it this way, if you walk into our house, we have beautiful animals all over. I mean, it's just like taxidermy heaven here. When people walk through and look at them, they're ours. It's not my stag or his elk or, my whatever. We were both on all of those hunts together for the most part. And, we earned all of those trophies together as a team. And I think that that's a really cool way of looking at it. And that moves right over into the production side. We've created some pretty cool TV and produced a lot of really cool commercials and, web stuff and short films. And, it's not his name or my name on any of it. It's both of those names, and it's a big-time team effort.
I was going to ask you guys what kind of advice that you had for others that would possibly try to follow in your guys' footsteps and be successful at it, either just personally or, actually production-wise, trying to do what you do. You're kind of hitting on it, though. I think if anybody listens to what you guys have been saying, that's a lot of good advice on why you guys work.
Yeah, and I would say what I always tell people on advice is, especially if it's a team thing you're doing, like if it's a husband-wife team effort that you're going for, find out what your strong point is and then let go of what's not your strong point. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I can sit over at my desk and take care of. Yeah. And then sometimes things come through, and I'm like, okay, Daniel, this one's on you because I have no idea what this is. And I know that his strong points are totally different than mine. So, you have to lean on each other and leave your ego at the door. That's the biggest thing. We don't have.
Yes, for sure. I think there's a lot of that in this day and age, and we touched on that in our last episode we did with one of the guys from the Grind Waterfowl TV and Lucky Duck, Ricky Hart, and I think one reason I really like what they're doing in the waterfowl industry is because they're trying to get people away from that who kills the most birds wins at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah.
That's not what this is about for me. And I don't think that if you want to have a successful habitat, it shouldn't be about that either.
Right.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In some areas, that would be considered a horrible thing to try to kill as many as you can.
Yeah. We embrace it all. We do. We know that there's everybody out there's got all these different ideas of what they feel like their show should be, and that's fine. So some of them are really entertaining, and we get a kick out of that. But what we do just happens to be based around a really successful marriage and a team and a friendship and some talents that are rolled up into one seem to really be working at what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think most people would catch that too. So
you guys have probably made some good memories along the way with everything you've done together.
Oh God, we got some stories.
It's funny, sometimes we think back and we're like, remember that time we did this and went here? And fortunately for us, it's all caught on video. We have like the best video documentary of our life together ever. But we've had a lot of fun over the years. For sure.
We laugh a lot, and it's just the nice part about it too is we don't need to just sit down every day and write our memories in a journal. We've got it all pretty much documented on film and pictures, and Julie shoots photograph after photograph with her iPhone. She's probably one of the best photographers I've ever seen with her iPhone. We've got tens of thousands of dollars worth of cameras here, and her iPhone stuff is phenomenal. I keep telling her she needs to do a class, teach a class on shooting iPhone pictures.
To be fair, those things are not cheap anymore. I looked at the price tag I got an iPhone 6 Plus or whatever, and God, what if you had to buy that thing outright? Holy smokes!
$899.
You could get a really nice DSLR camera.
Yeah. But I tell you, these iPhones, man, from a production standpoint, they shoot better all-around pictures than the DSLRs do. I mean, I know that they've got the telephotos and the wide angles on those things, but boy, oh boy, when you're running and gunning, you can bring this camera up and shoot, and it'll capture such a great dynamic range. We wear our phones out on the creative side. Yeah,
my guys hate me. After a hunt, during a hunt, they're like, "Dude, really?
Yeah,
dude, really?" And now everything's starting to kind of come together, and they're like, "Okay, it makes sense now." And I'm like,
yeah. We've been on a couple. Well, one hunt specifically where it got so cold that our cameras, all of our main production cameras, shut down. They iced over, the lenses iced up. We had to put them away. Nothing would even start up. And we ended up filming a little bit of it off of our iPhones. And mine was the last one standing because I kept it like in an inside pocket, and they filmed a little on it, and then it shut off from the cold.
Yeah, we were pheasant hunting in minus 19-degree weather, and the wind chill probably brought it to, I don't know, minus 30, minus 40. And
it seemed like a good idea at the time. But and then our eyelashes froze off, so that wasn't good.
I'm going to send you guys a photo of my eyes frozen shut.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good times.
One of those, what were we thinking? What? Yeah. Okay, so on that one, do you guys, and this will probably be the last thing that we're able to touch on this episode, but looking back at everything that you guys have done hunting-wise for production, is there one hunt that you guys have had that maybe stands out, either, good or bad, more so than anything else that you've done?
Yeah, the one that I always think about is the first hunt that Daniel and I ever went on together. We just started dating, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going elk hunting in Colorado. You want to come with me?" And I'm going, "Yeah, of course I do." So what were we together? Just a few weeks, maybe a month?
It was a little longer. It was October, and we started dating at the end of July. So it was 2 or 3 months.
So a couple months.
Still getting to know each other.
Yeah. So we got in the truck and we drove 23 hours out to Colorado. And he had an elk tag, and it was an archery hunt, and I was going to be behind the camera. And we get out there, and like you're still in that early phase of your relationship and trying to, be cute and whatever. Well, we end up at this cabin that didn't even really have solid walls. You could kind of just see out. No electricity, no running water for like 8 days. And
brutal.
I mean, it was just like the most fun and crazy, amazing, beautiful hunt I've ever been on. And I ended up filming him shoot his first elk on that hunt.
Yeah.
And it was just an epic, amazing situation. He actually shot at the elk, missed it, just grazed it on the first shot. And the thing ran up and looked over a ledge at us, like out of curiosity. And I filmed him shooting this elk straight up. Like, literally, he's looking up a ridge at the elk. And
35 yards.
Yeah, 35 yards. It stuck its head out, and he shot it.
Right through the throat.
Right through the throat and killed it. So,
wow.
It was just one of those, amazing first hunts together. And we have that elk here in the house. We did a European mount on it. And
we hang our keys on his horns.
Yeah, he's a little bitty guy, but man, it was fun. It was just
I'd love that. That's the one thing. If I had one thing, somebody was like, "All right, you can hunt whatever you want right now," in America, obviously, but United States, Canada, Mexico, but whatever. But you get United States. If I had one thing I could hunt, I'd go chase an elk, and I would probably prefer bow if I could.
You know,
Yeah.
listen, there's so many opportunities to do it. A lot of people that we talk to, you know, talk about the price. I said, listen, you can do it yourself. You can go out to the Gunnison National Forest.
That's what that one was.
It was exactly what it was, yeah. And do you can do for $500 for the tag and the license. Go out there, pack in, and the herd out there in the Gunnison National Forest is amazing. And that's just one of hundreds of places that you can go.
Yeah.
And
you just got to put some work into it, you know,
a lot
which
of
is
work.
kind of what makes those memories even
Heck yeah.
better. So.
Yeah.
I think what scares a lot of people off is they don't realize they try to treat an elk like a whitetail, and that's not the case at all. Whitetail deer are probably the most finicky and skittish of that species to hunt. And, you know, they think that maybe, oh, God, we're going to have to go out there and scout for a month and a half and put out cameras, and there's just no way we're going to be able to walk into the woods in a week and get something like that. I've had a lot of people like what you're saying. You know, I know a guy that hunts in Colorado, and he goes out there. He's like, they'll walk right up to you. You just got to happen to be in the right spot.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to be able, and you got to be able to get away from everybody else. But
I don't know if I really don't know if I can pinpoint the most memorable hunting trip. I think if I had to, it would be early. It would be really early on, almost the same time. And I took Julie down to meet my brother, to meet my mom, my brother, and all of my hunting buddies that I grew up with down there. And and we have some property that we lease in northern Florida up by Perry. And we've been hunting this area since I was 13 years old. And so I brought her up there to meet these guys, and these guys are just about as crazy as you can get, but they're wonderful, wonderful guys. And so we hunted, and one of the things that I do when I go down there, and once again, it's private lease property, but you know, you still have to abide by certain rules. But we're pig hunting. And, you know, down in Florida, you can hunt pigs all year long. You can hunt pigs, you know, with a bow, with a gun, whatever. And
by any legal means necessary.
By any legal means. So to make a long story short, one year, it was before I met Jules, I was hunting, and I was in a stand for 3 days, and every night I hear these pigs come in behind me. And they wouldn't come out until it got dark, and I had to leave, and then I knew they came out and hit the feeders. Well, the fourth night, I decided, I'm going to stay out here a little bit. Well, it's about the middle of the month, like the 19th, and there's a full moon coming out. Well, I sat in my tree stand until until 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. Now, earlier that day, I called the game warden. I actually called the local game warden, and I said to him, can I shoot a pig at night with my bow with no light on it? And he went through this series of regulations. He says, you cannot use a light to shoot a pig. And I said, well, you're not telling me whether or not I can do this or not. And he basically said, you cannot shoot a pig at night with a light on your bow. So that night I went out. I didn't even have my sight lit up. I just had no light at all. Well, the moon was shining so bright.
Yep.
I killed a pig that night at like 11 o'clock at night with a bow.
That's awesome.
So when I first took her down there, we hunted during the day. I don't think we saw anything. That night we went out about 2 a.m, and we both got pigs walking these roads and hunting with no lights on, and it was absolutely just invigorating. And Jules shot one at like 10 feet. She stalked up on a big old boar with her bow and just whacked him at 10 feet, you know, and didn't run far. And that was there's just so many great memories. I mean, they really are. It seems like we never have a really boring trip, even when we don't kill stuff. We did a mule deer hunt last year for a week and a half, and both of us ended up missing like 3 mule deer each. It was very frustrating, but on the drive back, I told her, I said, that might be one of the best hunts I've ever done. We don't have any meat, but I got to tell you, that was really a good time. It puts your feet back on the ground, you know, when you think I'm such a good hunter, and all of a sudden you get outsmarted by these animals.
That's what's so funny. You know, we always say, oh, yeah, we do this for a living. We never say we're professional hunters because obviously we're not. But, you know, it's funny if people start really asking us questions about the hunts we've done, because I'm like, yeah, no, that's why we don't call ourselves professionals. We are hosting a TV show, and we own a production company that's really successful, but we're not professionals by any means. We still are learning, and, you know, I mean, I'm not saying we're terrible at it.
Well, even a professional baseball player strikes out every once in a while.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth missed a 5-footer today to go to the playoff hole, you know, and he's the best golfer in the world. So, I think we're really good at what we do, but I think it's just because we devote our life to it.
Yeah.
We practice. But
yeah.
Well,
and there's bad days. There's bad days.
Yeah.
Oh, those were bad days.
That was a horrible day. I missed a mule deer out there that would have been. It was a potential state record. I mean, it was a really big public land archery mule deer.
Hard to swallow.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But it was still
That's part of hunting is you don't just go out and get animals. I see it all the time. You know, or somebody will lose a deer, like can't find it, and you get a whole bunch of people. They'll get up there and they're like, "Man, I lost my first deer." Oh, it shouldn't be the first mistake a person makes is posting that to Facebook and then getting blasted by everyone about being an unethical hunter. You know, my cousin Jeff, he plainly states, if you've never lost an animal, you're either very lucky, full of crap, or haven't done it long enough.
It's so true. I know. Yeah. You know. Yeah, we say the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's part of it.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And we're hunters, and we just gotta, you know,
do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say, the other thing is, TV shows make it look so easy, and it's not easy.
No.
That's one of my pet peeves is if people really knew how much time and effort and wasted footage and then you see a 22.5-minute TV show and they're like, oh yeah, I just killed this world-class mule deer in the last 10 minutes. And I'm going, it's kind of misleading. It tells a good story, but it's very misleading, you know?
It's a highlight reel. A lot of the shows are nothing but highlight reels. It's just the highlights of the high points of the hunt as opposed to the...
So we've always aired our no-kill episodes. If but if any of us wound an animal, miss an animal, it's how it is. You know, I think that's a realistic, it's a realistic way of showing the world what we're doing out there. And it doesn't make it easier. We don't like to wound animals or hurt anything, but it does happen once in a while. So.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. No, I like that a lot. I can't preach enough. I wish all the hunting shows were like that because I threw away just myself for what minimal filming I did. I think it was the first year that I really filmed anything. I literally took a whole waterfowl season, ducks, geese, teal, and all that, and I was able to put together one video. And a lot of it was me not knowing how to properly set up cameras and junk, but I probably wasted like 40 plus hours of I just sat through that and it's 30 minutes of nothing. Just completely wasted over 40 hours of film. And it's like, oh my.
Well, it was a learning experience though, right?
Yeah. And it was a good year too. So that was horrible.
Some of the bad hunts and things that go wrong during a hunt can be hilarious and great memories. I stuck my truck in the middle of a cornfield in North Dakota on a duck hunt, and I had to literally hitchhike a guy down to pull me out.
Oh my gosh!
3.5 hours from the nearest town.
Oh man!
Yeah,
I've not done that one yet.
So somebody asked us once during an interview. They said, "Who has the better blooper reel between the two of you?" And I said, absolutely Daniel, because I mean he's always being goofy in the field. But the few times that anything crazy happens to me, we basically put it on a loop and just keep showing it over and over because it's really funny when it happens to Julie. But you know, Daniel definitely has some really awesome bloopers. But you know, there's a few over the years that it's like he keeps a file on his computer of nothing but me messing up in the field.
There's not that many of them.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, man. We pretty much got a show down.
Super.
We would love to have you guys back.
Let's schedule it.
Yeah, let's do it. We will go over maybe some future stuff you got going on, some cooking, prepping,
Ooh,
and then, all that good stuff, and maybe throw some more off-the-cuff stuff, and kind of talk about just some of the experiences you guys have traveling as a hunting couple, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. We love talking about cooking and, all that stuff. We're starting to do a little bit more of that.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, trust me, eating the meat that we harvest is our favorite part. But we'd love to do that.
Great. Sounds good. It was awesome having both of you on the show. Always continued success, and I'll be emailing you in the very near future to try to get another date to where we can get you guys on and try to get this thing wrapped up with a few more topics that we got.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, completely our pleasure, and thanks for letting us share our stories and talk about this wonderful life.
Yeah.
I like the live tweeting, Daniel.
What's that?
I like the live tweeting with you here.
So you're saying I should have been on Twitter this whole time?
Is that what he's doing over here?
Yeah, Julie keeps smacking me because I'm over on my phone, and I'm just like...
Okay, so Daniel doesn't even know what live tweeting is. He's just over here tweeting stuff.
Yeah, it's to me. I'm sorry for getting you in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take his phone away.
Yeah, too funny.
Oh,
too
well,
funny, yeah.
You guys are great. We appreciate you having us on, and we're always happy to come back on and talk your ears off a little bit more.
Yep.
Great. We'll let you.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again.
Right. Yes, for sure. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's an early week, and hope whatever you guys got going on goes well for you.
Yeah, you too. You too, guys.
All right. Well, take care, guys.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to that. We had a blast recording with Julie and Daniel. If you haven't checked them out, you really should. They are some very, very, very cool, down-to-earth people. They love interacting with their fans. As you can kind of tell, that was the first time that we've ever spoke to him, and it's like we've known him forever. So, kind of like all the people we try to get on the show, they're one of a kind, and they're just like us. So, once again, thanks to everybody for listening. Without you guys, the fans, truly the most important part about this. Huge thanks to Julie and Daniel for coming on the show. It was a great show. We had a blast recording this one. Nothing but fun and good times. And then also we'd like to thank our sponsors. We have Remington Arms, Weston, Wolf Premium Oils, Orion Coolers, Vortex Optics, Puddle Set Decoy Anchors, Lethal, Scent Control, and Banded Brands. All those guys, partner sponsors, they've helped us out considerably. So, thanks to everybody. And you know what? Hope you're out there having a great summer. It's hot. The fishing's been good. The fishing's been bad. But you know what? We got about a month left till dove season, if not a little bit less by the time you guys listen to this. So don't forget about our photo contest. Photo of the Month contest. Check us out on Facebook, South Pond Waterfowls, The Pursuit to the Plate. Submit your photos to our page personally, or you can email Sean at southpondwaterfowl.com or Brian at southpondwaterfowl.com to submit your entry. All the prizes are great, so don't forget those. Past that, happy hunting. And continued success in the outdoors, and enjoy your pursuits. Take care, folks. Till next time.